What's going on, guys? Welcome back. This is part 2 of my first rental property. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit subscribe for part 3, which I'll pretty much be coming out within the next week or so. And that is going to be covering some painting and pressure washing. Actually, painting will be part 3, pressure washing will be part 4, and some deck work will be part 5. Part 6 will be going over the numbers, what I actually pay for this place, and what I'm gonna be expecting out of rent. Subscribe, like this video if you like it. Let's get right into it. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna give you a quick tour of what's happening here. As you can see, I pulled the doors off, and I'll get into that in just a moment. What the majority of the work has been so far is just doing some wall repair. I'm not an expert by any means. I have done this stuff in the past. The window, all of that was cracking, so I had to fill it in and replace some taping in parts of that. Otherwise, I filled it in and then sanded it down. It took a couple of coats for some parts up there, but it wasn't too bad. Kind of panning around here. This wall didn't require so much work, but what I ended up doing was I ended up caulking it around the fireplace, making that so it was a nice, good paintable surface, especially around the fireplace itself because it was all jagged and it didn't look really well. Same thing for the mantle. Doors, obviously, pulled those things off. These are going to be prepped for paint. I have to wipe everything down with denatured alcohol actually before I paint it. If you can see around the trim, yeah, you definitely can. What I did was I filled in all the gaps around the trim with paintable white caulking, and that's gonna make it so I can actually get some really good lines in here. There's a couple of ways that people approach it. Some people actually like to caulk and then paint, but in this case, I wanted to fill in all the gaps because they were so severe before I paint, and when I end up painting the walls and taping the trim, it's gonna make a really nice line. Let's walk into the hallway. So I pulled the inlet for the furnace out, and that's where the filter goes. I'm gonna paint that. I'm gonna paint the actual filter cover. That's in the garage, but I have to clean that out. Some basic wall repair. Again, I had to do some repairs up there. This corner in particular was horrible. I had to retape that and sand that down. That took a little while. And the crack went all the way up to the ceiling. Oh, another thing, not only did I caulk the trim and caulk the windows and around the fireplace and all that, but I also caulked around the ceiling because those lines were horrible too. Again, this place was built in 1985, so everything was just completely out of line, so I had to make it look a little bit prettier. Again, I caulked around all this trim. Pretty much any trim you see in here, guys, has been caulked over, including the ceiling, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But here's the bathroom. I got everything pretty much ready to go for paint. The previous owner had the toilet paper dispenser off the wall, so I'm definitely going to keep that. I'm not going to install a new one because obviously that's pretty nice. So yeah, so what I ended up doing was I did some repair work around the shower head. This right here, this is for the shower rod, for the shower curtain. But this in particular right here was all peeling off, so I had to essentially scrape and refill, sand, rinse and repeat a couple times to make it look good. And then I caulked around here. When I do end up painting, I'm gonna paint, and then for a finish, I'm gonna take some clear caulking, and then I'm gonna put clear caulking all around the tub to make it really watertight. I did some repairs up there too. There's no fan in here. I think I mentioned that in the previous video. That is just for the AC and forced hot air. But there's no fan in here, so there was peeling, unfortunately, and I think I'm gonna, at some point, I'm gonna install a fan in here. Here's the water heater. The door was taken off, obviously. I have to do a little more taping in here. I gotta put up a drape, similar to how I put up a drape around this part. I decided I'm not gonna paint inside here. It's just a lot of extra work for just a rental property, so I'm just gonna be painting the trim and making that look good. Closet, attention to detail. I did end up doing this. I'm gonna paint the closet. All that stuff in there is just gonna go white, nothing too crazy. Going to the first room here, I put in a daylight bulb, so in the previous video it was pretty yellow, so now you can really see what the true color of the walls are, which is actually like a gray. And I didn't really realize that before, but we are going to be painting it again. We're painting agreeable gray on these walls. It's just going to make it look better. It's going to make it smell a lot better. And then we're also going to paint the ceiling too. Again, attention to detail. Want to make sure this is all looking nice. I still got to take that all out before I do any painting. And I actually have to tape that. Again, the door taken off. All right, so coming into the second room here. Same deal. We have this all prepped, ready to go. Again, I have to wipe down the doors, but we did some caulking around the radiant heat there. Or actually, it's the electric heater, but those actually aren't in use. So, yeah, so that pretty much covers it. I still have to do a little more taping in the kitchen. Not too much, but I ended up using this paper roll for the tile floor. It's a lot better for tile just because of the slip resistance. If you tape it all down, it's really good. You don't want to be putting any loose plastic on the ground. This plastic here is actually sticky, so that sticks right to the carpet. That stuff's really good. It's a little more expensive, but it makes your life a lot easier. These blankets actually came from my grandmother, and she is moving, and the movers had left all of these blankets here. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take them. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. So yeah, guys, I'm really looking forward to getting the paint around and start painting this trim. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more taping than I initially thought. Actually, I kind of know that there's going to be a lot more taping than I initially thought. Once I paint the trim down here, I'm going to have to let that dry, and then when I paint the walls, I'm going to have to re-tape the trim to cover the trim so I don't end up getting the walls. So yeah, there's a lot of work. I'm only one person, can't do this all in one day like a professional painting team, but we're making it happen. We're making it happen, and I'm pretty excited to get this started. So the next part will be me actually painting, and that should be a pretty exciting video. So definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like this video, guys, and I will catch you in the next part. Peace.